Very, very nice pose.
Welcome, guys, to the spoilers section. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about some of the bigger reveals in the film. Taskmaster turns out to be a female. Turns out I knew it. I saw it coming a mile away before the even film released. I was like, nah, this is gonna turn out to be just that's her one of the Black Widows or whatever, sister, whatever, just something. And then once the plot starts and you realize that what is his name? Oh, Dreykov has a daughter. And apparently, Black Widow feels guilt because she attempted to assassinate Dreykov. The whole thing explodes, and she used the daughter. Hell, she might even put the freaking bomb in her daughter's backpack or something, because the camera kind of lingers on that. And she uses the daughter to kill. But I was like, I'm gonna meet a daughter character like right away. I was like, they're going to find some way to make this character a female. I just saw it coming. It was a very female empowerment
rule,
film.
Like in these spy movies, you always see the bad guy in the first 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. But so I saw that one coming. But what did y'all think of that? And then so she's like super tall, super manly, and then then in later scenes it just seems like it looked slightly different, and I was like, whatever.
It's a little trick. Yeah, I kind of figured there's gonna be a little twist on that one. It's like, well, it's a role of spies.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I wasn't super shocked by it, but it didn't really impact anything.
It did not.
I mean, they made Hayden Christensen grow like 1.5 foot, post burning off the leg. So it's like, all right.
Taskmaster. Taskmaster has no personality.
Oh no.
In the comics, he's got a little bit. He's cocky, overconfident in his abilities, more like a mercenary. He's not the greatest character, but he was actually a little better than this Taskmaster that we got here.
Yes.
So that's why he kind of falters a little bit. But yeah, so basically, the film starts with Scarlett Johansson look-alike child actor, pretty good approximation for a little girl version of them. So there's she's got a sister and playing around on the playground. Sister gets hurt, and you're like, oh wow, okay, so this was her life. But wait a minute, I thought that they were raised to be assassins, and turns out it was all a mission, a ruse. And the father comes home. We got about an hour left, before they come after us. And you see some trucks driving. And I saw a SHIELD logo on one of those trucks. And these SHIELD, they are literally trying to murder them. They are shooting at little girls. I'm like, man, SHIELD's the fucking bad guy right now. You know what I mean? While, this Red Guardian character is doing his best not to kill them. He's like kind of do a warning shot through the window, pops the tire when he could just be murdering them.
Yeah.
So it's like we get the flip of the thing. We're on the side of the Russians and the USSR and all this. And SHIELD are the fucking bad guys. Of course, they've got a reason. They're like, oh, well, y'all are spies and you've broken laws, so
you stole really important stuff.
Yep. Really important stuff, so we're gonna come and kill you. So yeah, and he shows powers off. Do you think he's as powerful as Captain America?
He looked like he was. Back in the heyday, in the glory days.
What do you think, Alex?
I think that he's probably 80% there. He's got a lot of the serum in there. Most of it's working.
Yeah, and well, it's got to be its own serum. It's going to be the Russian version of the serum because he was Russia's big into the propaganda, big into I am the first superhero of my country kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And he's shown as kind of. He does care about the daughters, but he's got this tough guy, thing where he just wants to battle, and he's this is boring and shit. But later on, he breaks down and he tries to confess that he goes on this big speech to Natasha that he really cared about her, and he cried when they took her away and all this other stuff. But he keeps giving the speech, and Natasha's never on the other end of the phone.
The earpiece isn't in or whatever.
So I thought that was pretty funny. They escape to Cuba, but he kind of has blood on his hands in a certain way because he gives up the daughters to his partner, Dreykov, and so the younger sister then becomes a super assassin. And I was wondering if they were going to address it, that they can't have children in the comics, and they do address it at some point.
yeah.
They're like, they got right up in there and just ripped our ovaries out. She was trying to explain to him in a horrific passive aggressive way that it's like you are a piece of shit, because they rescue him from prison. They need him. Because they think he knows where the Red Room is, and these sisters have decided to, take out the Red Room. And he doesn't get it, But yeah, cool. Any y'all want to say anything?
Well, I mean,
I'm just gonna jump in. But yeah, the whole scene, I like that one because he's judged. After he escapes, he's trying to be annoying, and then he gets punched by Yelena. He's like, "Oh, it's that time of month." It's like, no, that's not.
You idiot! I can't have my period. I had it.
He is an idiot.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's a lovable idiot.
And then the first thing when you bring him out of plane and they get out of danger, he's like, "Hey, Natasha, come here. I have to ask you a very important question." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, has the guy ever talked about me?" And he's talking about Captain America, and she's like, "Seriously? This is what you're gonna."
Like, you haven't seen you done in 20 years, and you want to talk about that.
About yourself, about Steve Rogers. Yeah.
Well, I can guarantee you, Steve Rogers never fucking said anything about.
He was frozen the entire time you were running around like an idiot.
No, when she's working with Steve Rogers, he was wondering. Anyways, but yeah, so the USSR basically they used him and then they imprisoned him. I don't exactly know why. We don't ever really get a reason why. Dreykov sort of betrays him, or he just goes to prison. I don't think so.
He's outlived his usefulness, or he couldn't be trusted.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of talked about he was trying to, make the party a little more like a party and a little less like a bunch of sad dudes.
Yeah.
And so they probably just
like
like
that. You didn't tell the
They're like,
party
"Oh, he's
line
probably
enough."
reckless. He's gonna put us all in danger. Lock him up."
definitely reckless.
I didn't like right when they revealed Taskmaster. He's over there studying moves, and I was like, okay, maybe
For
this
what?
is maybe this is gonna
For
go.
what?
Yeah, he didn't show us any of those moves.
He
most of the time.
did initially. He's using some of the same moves. You know how Black Widow loves to do the crab thing on top of a person, spin them and slam them. She does that on him, then he does it on her, and so I disagree. I think I saw
It
that.
started, and then it just went
Right.
nowhere after
That's
that.
why I said that. I made a
Little.
note here. That first Taskmaster fight, awesome, but he could have destroyed the sample. So he was actually there. So okay. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let me just say that then we flash forward here, and we've got Widow. We've got the Widow's tracking down some female, and it turns out that this was an older Widow who managed to steal these vials, which are the antidote for chemical mind control, whereas old widows were psychologically mind controlled and were abused and beaten and sort of like brainwashed. These new widows, it's more chemicals, and they've broken the code on how to control people in that kind of way. And so anyway, this Black Widow, her goal was to free all the other widows, and so that's where we get Elena, who has grown up. And she's now a badass Black Widow on the level of Natasha. And she tracks down this older widow and starts to tussle with her fighter. And the other widow manages to break one of the vials in her face before Elena kills her. And that releases her. And
as Elena kills her.
yeah, pretty much. And she realizes what's going on, and she kind of takes over that mission. And so... you've got that dynamic, and what I didn't understand though is, so then you got the vials, and how does Natasha come into contact with the vials? The
MacGuffin guy gives her the mail from Budapest and says, like, look, this is all the
Right,
stuff that was there.
Her sister actually sent it to her.
Sent it to her so to be safe.
That's where Taskmaster comes along, and he fires like a rocket or something. It must have been his arrow
or something.
that blows her little piece of shit car up, but it doesn't do any damage to the car. Like it dents it or something.
Maybe it was a Volvo.
Right?
Those things are secretly tanks.
They are.
No,
Yeah,
you could see the fucking paper-thin aluminum exterior. Damn near knocks the car off the bridge. And then it's shown, like, they fight, and he's using all her moves, and then he knocks her aside, and then instead of killing her, he just walks towards the vials, and she's like, "Oh, you're not here for me." And but I'm thinking, what the fuck? I mean, if you were there for the vials,
Smash it.
You could have. Like, the vials could have been destroyed with the explosion in the car, or if the car fell off, or just something. So I was like, God damn it, Taskmaster.
You knew it was in a case. They knew it was in a case.
An indestructible case.
Yes.
All right. But here's why I didn't understand this, and I think it was for the trailer. The fight with the sister. So then she goes to Budapest, or Budapest, depending on who you ask. Some of the jokes didn't work all that well, but I've done that before with the pronunciations. And she has a fight with her sister.
Yep.
Why?
Because she doesn't trust each other. They don't trust each other.
They're both
Why?
backstabbing
That's
spy
bad.
people.
That's-
They're not. They've only sisters for 3 years. They've been alive for 21 years since then.
I guess, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, it was fake. It was a fake mission, fake family set up. So are you super red room, or are you my sister? Okay. So that's, I guess they don't go full on with each other, and eventually she says truce, and she immediately listens. I
Yeah.
guess it's a thing between the Black Widows. I don't know. Then the Black Widow team shows up, the other Black Widows, and we get a pretty good rooftop chase. And they're chasing her. One of the Black Widows is really hot on their heels, jumping across roofs, falling through the thing, and they what is it, like a chimney falls, and then one of the chasing Black Widows falls,
Snaps her spine.
Snaps her spine. She's just jacked up, and you could see that Natasha wants to help. Even though the first thing she does is grab my hand, and then she's trying to cut my hand. I'm like, good, she's trying to help her.
Dummy, you're gonna die if I drop you.
Right.
It's all part of the mission, Alex.
Well, and then she's still just trying to kill her, and this is all showing to Natasha that these people aren't normal. They're definitely mind controlled against their will, and then she manages to let out a, "I don't want to do this," because the Dreykov guy terminates her, makes her kill herself. So she's by this point, when she sees that, and her sister confirms it and explains everything with the vials that she sent. They basically team up and say, "Let's take them down and let's free all these widows." What else? What next, guys? Why don't you take over? I'm gonna take this off.
After they free the widows, they need to find the Red Room, right? So they need to break out their father figure, who he was best friends with Dreykov, and then ultimately he doesn't know anything. He's just he's the dummy dad that doesn't know anything in the whole movie, and he's like,
in
no,
prison, breaking people's arms.
Yeah, your fake mom is the one that we need to talk to. She was the brains and the strategist behind and then so that's where the movie really gets going, is when the family unit gets back together, and then they kind of rekindle. Oh yeah, well, we're in spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, and also we're still with the sisters, right? Because I want to tell people how much action scenes there are. A tank shows up on the streets, turns into Fast and Furious, and then we've got like this chase, and this tank is just slamming things aside, and then that chase turns into then a motorcycle chase, and then you've got a good motorcycle chase, and all these action scenes are really well done, well filmed. Definitely see a lot of money. And here comes Taskmaster with his arrow again, trying to shoot a car. And I'm like, oh, well, I know what's going to happen. The car is going to explode, but it's going to be completely fine. Only this time, he fires an arrow under the car. It bounces, hits the undercarriage, explodes, and does no damage to the car, only flipping it into the air 15 times. Then it lands on the street 15 times.
Yeah,
flips,
and it goes underneath.
Then it spins and slams into a subway. Goes down all the stairs. Does some more spinning, and then the black.
You have arrived to location.
They should have done that. I would have laughed my ass off. And then Natasha falls out, and his sister falls out. Let's go.
It was a BMW commercial.
Like,
all of these
you
were
got
BMWs.
a little bit of fake blood from the prop department on your wrist. And that does nothing. And so I just wanted to point that one out, that crazy ass moment. So then we could do the Alexei fake dad thing. They need him, and they have a lot of moments between the two sisters talking to each other in cars, just kind of relaxed and reconnecting with each other. They do this reoccurring joke with the vest. She's like, "This is the first thing I've ever bought myself. It's got a lot of pockets. Pockets are useful."
They are.
She's got a terrible fashion sense, I guess. But you know what? She's been brainwashed for 20 years. And it's her vest, goddammit. So the fixer guy brings stuff, bullshit, and then he gets him a helicopter instead of like a fucking badass jet is what she asked for or something.
But he didn't have time.
There's a piece of shit helicopter on this fucking prison break. And yet again, we have to sort of suspend your disbelief because the helicopter comes over, drops Natasha. She does her little pose, and then her sister's like, "Oh, God damn it, it's stupid." And it was funny. But at that time, Red Guardian is using his kind of super strength to kind of get out. But everybody's chasing. Everybody wants out too and all this other stuff. And all the guards have machine guns. And they see a helicopter.
They start firing.
And they start firing, but then when it cuts away to see the bullet destruction, that's the only bullets they fired. So if you go back, it's like 4 bullets, and then they stop firing. No,
ran out of ammo.
no, you continue to fire until the helicopter
They don't have
is
any
down.
bullets. They're in the middle of Siberia.
They only had 4
There was
each.
only 4
And
bullets, and you share bullets with Alexi, okay?
Every guard has bullets, so they couldn't shoot the helicopter down. So then a 50 cal guy comes over and starts shooting the helicopter, and he's landing motherfucking hits. And Elena's like,
She's like, "Oh, God damn it."
and then she casually gets up and just walks while bullets are. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then she takes her rocket launcher while she's in the doorway, and then you see poof, 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 just perfectly. But we see this all the time in other action films, so I'm gonna let it pass. But I do want to point it out.
It is
Fires
silly.
a rocket. Slams into the tower, actually causes an avalanche. So this film is like, okay, how can we make this even more epic? They're always looking for something because they feel like maybe this film needs to be a mini Avengers, right? An event movie. So an avalanche comes down, and they use that avalanche to get everybody inside to stop shooting the helicopter and shit and get them and escape.
They killed so many people as well.
They realize he
I
really
didn't care about the people, but there was a bunch of really cute German shepherds. It's like, I hope the doggos are okay.
Well, they're
Yeah, they
stuck
make
in
it
there.
back
They're
inside
stuck in
of
there
them.
for now, though.
Yeah.
It's an avalanche.
gotta be alternate exits. I don't know. But they realize he doesn't know shit. So then what do we do?
Yeah, they go to the mom. The mom was the brains behind the operation. She's the one that, kind of decoded their information from Ohio and learned to do the whole mind control thing.
Yeah.
And then they kind of sit down and have a family meal. They drink a bunch of vodka, and they're trying to do
yeah, and then she's got some pigs.
She's got pigs that she uses to like experiment. It kind of
Experiment, the
shows
mind
like the
control.
level of mind control. She's like, stop breathing, and she turns down the breathing function. So,
I'm like, you better turn that back on.
Yeah, I was like, "What are you doing?"
Animal
like- it's-
cruelty.
it's like
Even though
this-
I eat bacon and I love it.
yeah. Well, then no, she clarified. It's like, no, he was totally fine. He had more than
11
11
more
more
seconds.
seconds, and he was good. But the first thing that she did when they showed up is she called the Red Room people. So eventually they win her over.
While they're on their way.
Yeah.
Because I do think, yeah, you're right. They call her. But so then they formulate a plan. And I wrote here, I'm like, motherfucker, this fake mother, she betrayed them? Is she maybe controlled? Or does she think it's the best way to get them inside? And then it's revealed that
It's the best
she
way.
is the best way to get them inside. And they use the Mission Impossible face swab where you put the button and then your face comes off. So sorry about that. A little camera trouble is turned off. So we'll just start from where we last left off, which was the Mission Impossible face swap. So, press the button, boom, you've got the reveal that Natasha's actually in the room with the big baddie, and
How would that work, though? They're like 2 different sizes. Like me swapping with Alex.
It could work. Hollywood.
It's like, "Alex,
True, the
you look
face-
shorter."
Yeah.
the face messes
the
with
face.
your body. Plot hole
Like face
number
off.
7.
Totally
Right,
different
and that's when
body
the Red
types.
Guardian's in the cell next to fake Natasha, who is actually, the fake mother. and he's confessing to Natasha, and she's
Sorry,
like,
real
"I'm
emotional.
not
It's like,
Natasha."
oh,
Yeah. So Natasha and uses this plan to basically get to the big bad guy. She tries to see if he's remorseful at all. He's just got no emotion. He's ha ha ha, the cackling fucking
Bond
I'm in
villain, yeah.
control of everything, and he's got to boast to her a little bit because she's like acts like she's unimpressed, and
let
you
me
hide
tell
in the
you
shadow.
my evil
Let
plan.
me tell you exactly what my
Yes.
evil plan is. I have Black Widows all throughout the world. You see these 30 over there? Nah, I got 1 million. I don't know what he's. I don't
And the
know.
only way
I don't know
to
what-
disarm it is this ring with this thing, and I'll show you how to do it. Don't you look at me.
Yeah.
Don't look.
Don't look at my passcode.
This is the only way.
And he got, so she's very clever to get him to do all that. He does the reveal of his daughter. Oh, you got some guilt. This, well, don't. This is my greatest achievement now. And Taskmaster now, go kill, your fake mother. And she's like, instead of killing me, he goes over there. Unleashes Red Guardian, because she's like, I designed these cells. We can get out very easily. Here comes Taskmaster, and they fight. So we get the Red Guardian Taskmaster fight. Unfortunately, disappointing.
Yes.
You don't get to see much of it. I wish I would have said this in the main review, too. I missed that a little bit. He gets his ass beat up, and I guess it makes sense because he's very out of practice, and maybe he's just not very strong in the first place. And is not on the level of the Taskmaster, but I think he would have done a little better than what he did.
Yeah.
And they cut away from it, and they cut back, and they cut away. It's just a fight that wasn't up to par to all the other fights.
Yeah.
You agree?
Agreed.
Yeah, they got going, and just as it was starting to get good, they changed scenes. It's like,
Take
oh, wait
you
a
out of the
minute, I
moment.
want more of that.
Yeah,
like,
they
show
take
me.
you out of
I
the
want to see
moment.
David Harbour getting his ass beat for a while, and then we didn't get any.
So
of
we
it.
go back to Natasha, who is now enacting her plan to try to kill him, and she can't bring herself to do it. And it's like, wait a
Because
minute,
you got the chi.
are you
You got
chemical?
mind control.
The
Are you
Tai Chi.
chemically from? No, it's not Tai Chi. It's
What is it?
It's
Whenever the
Aqua-
masters just go like that,
it's Geo.
and then they
it's-
just push you aside.
No, it's not Chi. It's Geo, Aqua de
Geo,
Geo.
Aqua
So
de
his
Geo.
scent,
That's
his
right.
cologne,
Pheromones.
It's
pheromones coming off him, and she smells him, and she can't. Oh, you smell like my, old grandpa, because
I
you
can't
know that
kill you.
motherfucker's wearing polo, okay? So he smells like the old grandpa smell, and she can't kill him, and they figure out. They do some flashbacks to her and her fake mother talking, like how they're gonna do it. This is you need to get him to show you the key, which is it turns out to be the ring. And here's the thing: you're not gonna be able to attack him. So it turns out she already knew that these things were gonna happen, and all she has to do is sever the artery. And she was like taunting him to get him to hit her, and she's like, "This is the best you got. You're hitting me. Hit me." Because she was trying to get him to sever the thing
to
for
pretty much
her,
break her
and-
nose, and
and then when she reveals, oh, I already know all this shit and this and that, and then she's like, well, you were too weak to do it. So she slams her own head into his desk, severs the
fucking
artery.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, just snaps
It's like
the nerve.
maybe if she would have done that too hard and knocked herself
Yeah,
out. I was like, oh no.
that's one of the. Oh man, that's a Doctor Strange timeline where he's like looking through the futures and past, goes like, "You did what?"
It's like, that was dumb.
Yeah,
There's some timeline where,
yeah. It's
where
like you
Blank
just
went,
knocked yourself out and then
It's like,
everyone
what
died.
is she
And he's like-
doing? Is she okay? It's like somebody guards.
Yeah,
Joe,
Clean
take
this-
over.
Clean this
Take
mess
over.
up right here. So she doesn't knock herself out. She breaks herself away from the scent and starts whooping the guy's ass.
yeah. But just before
And,
she
yep,
kills him,
right before she kills him, it's like, oh no, I hit the alarm. All the Black Widows come to my room and whoop her ass. And
She
then you
does-
get a little cool fight.
you get a
scene on
cool
this one.
question, and she holds her own against that giant group
Yeah.
of like badass Black Widows for a while, and then they just
Which is
fucking
very believable.
beat
I was
her
like, I
ass.
like it.
He did
Yeah.
ask her to make her suffer, which is the reason, because we're always looking for plot holes and stuff, and this is what this section
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Is she was using her red black what do you call it,
Stun guns.
the stings, and but none of them were using their stings on her. So the fight would have been over a lot sooner probably. But she said make her suffer. So then they get the upper hand. They're beating her ass.
And then Florence runs in and throws a grenade, a flashbang that has all the vials wrapped around it. And
Yeah.
you know,
Elena, yeah. And
curse is
the
broken.
grenade releases them all, and they're like, what do we do now? And they're like, you're free.
Whatever you want.
yeah, whatever you want.
Be
Go buy
free.
ugly vests.
But not before fake mom. I keep calling her fake mom.
Melina.
Her character name is Melina from Mortal Kombat. She accidentally destroys a fucking engine for no reason. It's like they threw this in here because it's like the writers were like, okay, I just want everything to blow up at this point, and I want there to be a ticking time
What
bomb.
are you standing on?
Yeah,
Blow up.
yeah, so she's got this random scene where she's running. She's trapped by, you know, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 guys with guns, and they're all pointing at her. It's like, whoa, how's she going to get out of this? And then she just, you know, puts her hands up. She's got a gun, and she fires a few bullets, which apparently is enough to destroy the whole fucking engine. And this engine falls, and she
did it with a
uses her
Death Star.
grapple to get out of there, and all the guys fall down. That's fine, but then the fucking engine, you shoot one engine and this whole fucking place falls, it starts exploding everywhere else? Why from one...
You got the exhaust port.
One in a million.
There's an
One in a
exhaust
million
port.
shot,
There was
bro.
And it
explosions
just went
everywhere else.
Oh yeah, it was real slow.
Okay.
Again,
One in
this
a million.
This is the
That-
Michael Bay slow jerk section of the movie where he's just sitting there going,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, Michael Bay would blush here. He'd be doing more than blushing, right? So much
That was
destruction.
an homage to Michael Bay.
Yeah, and so everybody runs out of the, you know, after she basically, the Black Widows, before beating up Natasha, managed to get Dreykov, you know, to
ring.
safety. He's in his own, you know, ship. And Elena comes, and she uses a baton to destroy the ship. But Natasha's like, no, don't, because she's going to blow up. And so she does it anyway. All the soldiers in there die, and you, assuming this guy dies, never any explanation on how he survived the first explosion. Just a big plot hole. How did his daughter survive? How did he survive? No.
Movie
Well,
magic.
blew her face off.
No, her face was still intact.
Well, no, he
I mean,
said-
that's light fire.
He specifically said like blew her face off, and maybe he hid behind something. I don't know.
hit behind her.
So the fucking
He
bomb.
grabbed
Yeah, he holds up his little girl. It's like,
So the fucking bomb that Natasha put in the little girl's backpack wasn't strong enough and made her suffer, and
It looked
everybody else
fucking
suffered.
huge, though.
What? So okay.
oh, the explosion.
So
I was
so
like,
if
the
he
little
can
girl's
survive
no.
that, then I guess he can survive this explosion. His glasses fly towards the camera, and you're like, oh, okay,
But the
he's dead this
altitude would
time.
He's
kill
dead.
him.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
He's also 30,000 feet up.
And he's
Yeah.
flying through the sky, right?
Yeah, he didn't have a
But
parachute.
that's what happens to Elena after she destroys the ship. She flies backward, and she's got no parachute. And then, so obviously,
Well,
Yeah,
before
go-
that,
go ahead. I
well,
think I missed something.
Yeah, before that though, he's being transported to the ship. He's like, "Oh no, Black Widow took my ring,"
right?
and they're like, "No, we gotta go. We gotta go." She
Yeah, he's like, "We gotta
manages
go back," and it's like, no.
She manages to download all the Black Widow files.
Right,
She knows
Yeah,
all the
known
people.
widows.
She knows
So
who to
now
save.
she knows who
Perfect.
to save.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then we jump back to the other
Yeah.
scene.
Well, she also frees before the whole thing blows up. She decides to free
Which was
shit.
that was
Taskmaster. So
Black
she,
Widow should, yeah.
and so it's just like, look, I'm kind of responsible for creating you. I know you're under some, magic, brain magic. I'm gonna free you, and then I know you're gonna try to kick my ass. And that's exactly what happens. And then they run away, and they're separated by a convenient explosion.
More explosions.
As
she,
you do.
She slides down, and then she falls, but then she sees the ship, and then she goes after her sister. So she flies off.
And there's a
sister's flying
parachute
off.
just sitting there waiting for
Just-
her to like run and grab it.
Right. So now you see how the writing is right. The writing falls apart at the
Yeah,
end to
they're like,
have
"All right,
this
we
big
need to
Michael
hurry up
Bay
and
thing.
finish.
Let's go. Let's
Convenience.
go. Let's go. But it's still entertaining because there's lots of things going on. So anyway, flying through the sky, Black Widow saves her sister Elena, and then Taskmaster just happens to show up. He's flying through the sky, and he's like a fucking jet fighter. He can go wherever he wants and find them. And then so then they fight. He slams into Black Widow. She lets go of her sister, and they're fighting in the sky, and then they fight more on the ground. But Black Widow manages to free her too.
How?
Which, by the way, you said her in the fucking review. I'm gonna have to bleep that out. It's like, yeah, when she's fighting her, and you were referring to Taskmaster.
Say him
I was
real
like,
quick so you
"Son
can
of a
cut that."
bitch."
Well, no, because after
No,
after I said that, I said Black Widow. because I
I
caught
don't think
myself.
it's enough. I think I still have
Say
to live
him
with
so
that.
you can cut in there.
Yeah, I
and it'd
did
be like,
say him.
Yeah.
No, him.
The
that's
final
too
fight
obvious.
was so lame and disappointing because this is exactly where you needed to have the good guys figure out, and there's so many ways in the comics where the good guys figure out how to beat Taskmaster that they just didn't do any
They
of
didn't
it, right?
figure out how to beat
there's not a flashbang situation where you're disorienting them. Like there's nothing. It's just she kicks Taskmaster's ass with no explanation. Apparently, there's no more special, mimic powers, so none of that happens. And then smashes the thing in the face, and then we move on. This was also the opportunity where the parents who are off fucking off somewhere we could have had like the.
That's what I wanted.
The emotional
Red
thing.
Guardian. Well, I thought what I was looking for is Red Guardian to show up and her mother to show up and the three of them or the sisters to show up and all of them overwhelm Taskmaster because he can't read all of the different moves all at once.
Yeah, read this and just
That
get punched
would've
from the
been
other
better.
three sides.
Right.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's not how it happens. It was a super rushed fight, and then she snaps the thing, snaps her out of it, and then
She's just like, "Is my father dead?" Yep, he dead.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, she's like, "Is he gone?" He's like, "Yes, he's gone."
Okay.
So-
And then another ship lands, and it's filled with all the Black Widows, and then you came back for us, and they were like, "Yep, we'd never leave family. You conveniently showed up at the last minute when I need your fucking help over
Yeah,
here."
I need you to beat this
They're like,
motherfucker.
it's still fun. Circle around. We'll come back later. She's done. All right,
Okay, let's
bring
go.
her in.
Yeah.
Bring her in. So now Elena is seemingly going to
leader.
lead this group because she comes over there and they hold hands, and it's
Yeah, they bring Taskmaster with them. So.
and so they're gonna free all the rest of the Black Widows all throughout the world and create their own little Black Widow fighting force. I don't know if that will factor into the future Marvel phase. I'm gonna guess not. But who knows? Because there's two stingers. There's two stingers here. Let's talk about the stingers. She says that the first one, she said she's got two families, and the fence dude gets her a VTOL jet, the cool one that he said he was gonna get
It
her.
was kind of weird. Like, she's driving up on the road. She's like, "Oh, what'd you get me?" It was like,
There's a giant fucking jet over there, lady. For the most perceptive of sass that exists.
You
It's
would
like,
have had to have been driving on the road like this the whole time, and then
You
got out of the
literally-
car like this.
Or you literally walked across the road
Whoa!
and like, take a look. I was like,
Yeah,
how did you not see that pulling in?
I don't know. They should have hit
movie
it.
magic.
Should have hit it behind some trees.
Exactly.
Or something. But anyway, the fence dude says, "Yeah, here's going to do it," and she's going to take it, and she says she's going to. I got two families now. One of them is kind of messed up.
Yeah,
I'm
break him out of prison.
Break them out. So she's going to go break out the Avengers with her new jacket on. By the way, her sister gives her a jacket because she knows she likes it with all the cool pockets. Now I can't recall if we ever saw that jacket in the films that came after, at least in the movie timeline, where she shows up to
wearing an ugly vest.
wearing an ugly. I don't remember. So somebody have to go back. I don't think so. I think the vest was a new thing. But, anyways, that was the first stinger. Second stinger is Elena is at Natasha's gravestone, because then you have to remember. Oh shit! Whoa, that was a great origin story. I can't wait to continue the adventures of Natasha and have
did.
all this extra context. Nah, man, she dead.
Yeah.
Here's a tombstone.
Yep.
We'll see her maybe in Loki, because I went back. You know how in the Loki we were.
So-
Is this the scene? Well, I went back and it does look different than
It
the
is
scene
different,
it was
okay.
at. So it does. I think we might still get to see her. Who
Okay.
fucking knows? But I don't know. So.
I
anyway.
really didn't like the second stinger. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I forgot to mention that way back in 2019 or 2020, everybody thought that Iron Man would show up, Tony Stark and, Robert Downey Jr., but that never happened. He's not in this film.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened there. But anyways, go ahead. Why didn't
second-
you like? Go ahead and describe it and tell us why.
Yeah, the second stinger is Elena's at her grave, and then she she does their little secret whistle, and she drops off some stuff, and then Madam Hydra shows up. So, what is?
Yeah, Valentina.
Call her V.
Yeah, so Valentina shows up,
Lady V.
and she sits there, and she's clearly her boss now. She's like, "Well, you work for me. You're one of my assassins now."
She's rude as fuck, by the way.
Yeah.
Blowing her nose and then just
And
being stupid.
she's supposed to, it's supposed to be, she's edgy. So she's blowing her nose at Black Widow's grave, and then they're talking about her next target. She's like, I'm on vacation, let's not talk about it. It's like, no, I've got something for you, and I want to hand deliver it. And she's like, this person's responsible for the death. And this...
Who's on it?
It's Clint who's responsible.
Hawkeye.
And so this requires you to be an absolute fucking moron to think that none of the people who like heard the story, you know, and they wouldn't tell the whole world about Natasha's sacrifice, not, you know, Clint's murdering her or whatever. So this is just absolute lowest level of comic book storytelling ever, where you just have to be, we're going to assume you're a moron, don't think about this. And it's like, well, I'm going to think about it because we have nothing else right now.
I'm going to say this is the Batman versus Superman. That's basically what they're doing right here.
Oh, they're gonna set up the Clint versus Elena
so
thing.
He's evil. It's like no, he's not.
This
All
is
you have to do
stupid.
is
Well, you just gave a
Well,
conversation.
they're setting
real
up. I
quick.
think Hawkeye is getting a Disney Plus series, and then so that gives the opportunity for Elena to show up as the new Black Widow to take over the role. Here's what I don't want, and I know it's going to happen, is this film doesn't really push it too hard, so it didn't bother me. Like passing the baton, like saying Black Widow done, Natasha done, Elena Black Widow is the new Black Widow. You know what I mean? Sort of like Anthony Mackie as you know, the Falcon is now the Captain America. That's kind of I think what they're doing with Elena, and that's just I don't know. It's gonna suck.
But she knows about the existence of Hydra. She specifically mentions it in the movie, and then she goes to work for Madam Hydra. No.
It doesn't
it's
make sense.
Stupid.
And I got to give me more money, or what did she say? Something like
She wants a
that.
raise
She
because
wants a
she's
raise.
to
And
go
she's like,
kill
I do
Clint.
too.
Yeah. I'm sure some dude with a bow that has no powers whatsoever, like, and he's also 50. He's gonna, you know,
he's super accurate.
yeah, he's very him and his daughter are very accurate. So it's just.
Well, there is going to be a Hawkeye television miniseries, so maybe that they'll use this opportunity. They're setting that up. It's kind of cool, you know. You get the movie setting up the Disney Plus, and then we've got these Disney Pluses setting up movies. So in that way, it's very cool, fluid universe. I like the way Marvel's doing it. DC doesn't, you know, DC's got the CW universe. They get this thing, and they'll cross over. But then when it comes to the movies, you know, WB's like, nah, don't get that. Get your raggedy ass out of here. You know, we're doing
the
our own
TV and
thing.
movies for DC are terrible. They need to get the animation studios for DC needs to just take over everything and just go. You people have no fucking idea what you're doing. We're taking over.
Yeah, so Hawkeye is scheduled to premiere in late 2021, Phase 4 spin-off series.
This could be cool.
But this one is focused on Cox's character Maya Lopez, Echo. A spin-off series focused... Oh, no, that's a different thing. That's a completely different series.
Okay.
Another series called Echo. I don't know. But anyway, it's going to introduce... What I meant to say, it was going to introduce a new hero, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. So we have that to look forward to. And maybe we'll see an appearance by one of the Black Widows. Maybe that'll cross over, but we don't know. So anyways, that was Black Widow. Not too bad. Not too many. A few plot holes here and there, a few stupid moments, but a lot of really cool stuff. And overall, I think I enjoyed it, and I would recommend you go out and see it in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, or on Disney Plus if you're gonna split the cost with a ton of people. So you know, unlike Mulan, which even if you split the cost, you have just wasted your money
And time.
and time and
Yeah.
and memories.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Tainted.
thank y'all, thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, guys.
Guys.